Another day in the life. You pay the cost each and every morning on the rise. Never falling down, only falling up. Stumbled upon greatness. Albatross on my back, give me strength to move the weight. Push the pace in this rat race. Ain't no chance we taking second place. A talent stallion. When they move the cheese, we loyal to the creed like Michael B. Air with or without Jordan. Architect in a lane like paper plane. Something from nothing, stirred in a pot like gumbo. While the game gumby, bending to our will, as if our last will and testament was worth 10 figures. Not yet, but when we talking about her figure, she a dime. So our figures trained to trigger and catalyze growth. Fresh off the boat, work the wait, arriving on CP time. For them Gotham Knights, me and the Legion of Boom, headed to the boom boom room. Yeah, buddy, let's go. All right, time for another edition of that Panjandrum. Thank you for the patience, for the extended intro. You know, it just bees like it sometimes. As I finish up another one of my workouts, I feel so inspired to talk to folks about a topic that a lot of folks aren't familiar with. We all know what power is, but very rarely do you hear about the two types of power. You got revocable power and irrevocable power, or at least that's how I like to coin them. Now, revocable power is like being considered a manager, someone granting you access to something. This can always be taken away. Irrevocable power is the power that is either A, your birthright, or B, earned and learned. No one can take your knowledge, no one can take your experience. Now, last time I talked to folks about you'll never find a shortage of women trying to deal with attractive males who are successful, who push the limits. And really, to tell the truth, they don't even always have to be attractive. You know, successful folks who really put an emphasis on chasing greatness or whatever their adjective is that falls in line with this. Now, I used to sit there and have business dealings to where I sit there and had to initiate interactions and attempt to gain rapport with about 100 females or more every day, 5 to sometimes 7 days a week. And through this experience, I had the great fortune of having a lot of interactions with females. A lot of females I dated, a lot of females I got to know, a lot of females who we shared some form of intimacy. And when we say intimacy, it doesn't always have to be, you know, rounding the bases, sweating,
get naked with each other. There's various forms of intimacy. And I've been fortunate enough to share those experiences with a wide array of females. Why do I mention this? Piggybacking off the last conversation, no one can take that from me. I mean, they can say whatever they want. They can feel however they feel about how I am. Jealousy, like the other deadly sins. And, this is for saints, sinners, atheists. I don't care what you believe in. But there is truth in the 7 deadly sins psychologically that they impact everyone. So jealousy, like sloth, are two things that impact folks psychologically. So when you talk about irrevocable power and revocable power, the world will always try to revoke your power when you make them uncomfortable. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be the wealthiest, you could be the most esteemed, you could be anyone. When you make the world uncomfortable, it's always going to try and revoke certain components of your power. But here's the key. Always focus on the irrevocable. No one can take your knowledge. No one can take your experience. No one can take your birthright, and no one can take what you've learned and earned. Goods come and go. Situations come and go. But when you focus on the irrevocable, then you can sit here and move in a way that you can stare through the shade from beneath you. Because very rarely does anyone who's higher than you hate on you. I mean, literally, they have no time for that. Now, there are times in business where you will have an incident where you're in direct competition with someone and they may try to sabotage your campaign professionally. That's not personal, that's business. When someone has a personal feeling towards you and they invest time into that, unless you have an intimate relationship with them, they're almost always beneath you. So your job, when these haters emerge, like they always do, the crabs in the proverbial barrel, is to focus on your mission, to focus on what you're great at, and to focus on what you aspire to do. And the only way to do that in perpetuity is to keep the main thing the main thing. Your irrevocable skill sets, build upon them. You know, there's some areas where you won't be as strong at. Don't dwell on those. Look up strength finders. If you're not familiar with the concept, you got to find your strengths. That's a freebie. I don't want to hold you too long today, but I'm loving this. You know, as I get closer to potentially actually doing some of this Panjandrum, and integrating it into my coaching style, I get excited about the potential to see folks shedding that fear that this hating culture wants them to have, especially now where everybody has access to information, everybody thinking about a phone, thinking about a social media, thinking about all of these things, feeling so powerful with this revocable privilege. What can you get out the mud? What's irrevocable? What skill set, if it was a dystopian society, like Orwell's 1984, like The Circle, can you get it out the mud? And folks is going to fall in line behind you in this area. If you don't know these things, you need to find your strengths. Again, I'm not going to spoon feed you unless you pay. And this is a freebie. Panjandrum. It's a beautiful evening. Hayden's hard work. When you just bounce back, bounce back. Yeah, baby. And I'm gone.